Laughter for All podcast. I am Comedian Nazareth. Thank you for joining me for episode number 95. 95. Can you believe that? This has been going on for almost 2 years now, and it's so good to be with you guys in this new time. This is our second week where we're meeting at 6:30 p.m. instead of the 2 p.m. we used to. And the reason we did it at 2 p.m. 2 years ago is because I needed a studio to shoot the show and to do it. And the only time slot they had was Monday at 2 o'clock, and then it became Tuesday at 2 p.m. So that's why we did it there, but we kept it. And then I found out that most of you are working or busy at 2 p.m. So we started doing it now at 6:30 p.m., which is a better time to do the show. So today is my 25th anniversary, wedding anniversary. I've been married for 25 years. Today, 25 years ago, me and Maha, my wife, we got married at the YMCA in the Gaza Strip where she lived, and we had about 600 people attend the wedding. And then in the evening, we had a reception at a hotel in the Gaza Strip, also. And then the next day, we flew out to Greece for our honeymoon. So, we celebrated a little bit on Sunday night. Sunday we went to San Diego, had dinner, and then from there we had some time just together because we couldn't plan anything. Thanks, number one, to COVID. Everything was messed up. You couldn't plan anything. Number two, you couldn't plan because everybody was traveling in the last, this month. Everybody's out. Hotels, airlines, cars are double and triple the price. So we decided. We said, you know what? I mean, no one's gonna say, oh, why didn't you celebrate on the 5th? Can you do it the 26th? We're gonna do it next year. So we will celebrate our big silver. I don't think silver rust after a year. So we will be celebrating next. What do you call it? Next year, a big one. We'll probably will go somewhere, spend a few days together. But today was a special day. So my daughter Tally started school, first day of school physically, to take her in the morning and drop her back. It was so nice to do that. Some kind of normality. So some of you, I have a wonderful guest, a funny guy. His name is Barry Brewer. He's a very funny comedian. He's going to be joining me in about in a few minutes. He's in Chicago right now. And until then, I just want to share a few things about what makes my marriage, 25 years of marriage. Honestly, and God is my witness, I have a great marriage. Great, 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 wonderful marriage. It's not a perfect marriage, it's a great, wonderful marriage. And the credit goes to my wife, Maha. She listens to God more than she listens to me, and that makes it so she's always the one that makes things work. So, what makes a good marriage? I mean, in my opinion, this is from my own experience. One of the greatest things I always tell married people, especially young married people, is two words: "Shut up, Satan." Shut up, Satan. I came up with these two words, and it says "Shut up, Satan." Which what happen is sometimes when you disagree with your spouse or you are arguing with your spouse and you're alone, you're either going to shower or you're walking out or you're taking a walk, and you start. These thoughts come to your head, and it's like, how dare she talk to you like that? You don't need to take this. You know what, she's not going to change you. And you're a good husband, you're doing great. She is so fortunate to have you. And I mean, you didn't do anything wrong, and why you're being judged like that? You always say this, and you go, I'm gonna get her back, I'm gonna tell her what I think about it. And that's the time when you say, shut up, Satan. Shut up, Satan. That's really one of the best things where you can just take your mind of that garbage, because the Bible tells us, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are pure, meditate on this. So I can't keep my mind these ugly thoughts in my head. And that goes also to the spouse, the wife too, She's going with these thoughts like, I hate him. Who does he think he is? You know what? I'm not going to wash his clothes. I'm not going to wash the dish and let him see what's going to happen to him. He's going to have worms and rot in 2 days. You just go, shut up, Satan. That's not what you want in your head. And when you do that and you start remembering how much God forgave you and how much God loved you, and uh, how prayer is an essential thing in that time, to remember the grace of God. How many times did God forgive us? How many times did we sin? Did we offend God? Did we hurt God's feeling? Did we ignore God? Did we forget to spend time with God? And then God is not like, oh, I hate you, I'm going to curse you. No, we just go, he forgives us and he gives us grace and mercy in time of need. So I think that's what we need to do as spouses, as husbands, and as wives, is to extend that kind of grace to the other person. And there's always times you got to know when your spouse is really under stress. So that's when you loosen up. It's like pull and push. When they're pulling, you just release. And when you're stressed out and you're pulling, she releases the rope. So it's not a tug of war, it's just a friend. So that's where I think my marriage has been great, in that part. Shut up, Satan. Being able to extend grace, and she does a lot more. Like 99%, she's the one extending grace to me, not me. Another thing. So for you single people, I know some of you here are single, Michael Ramirez, and some of you are single, and you really, maybe some of you want to get married. You have that desire. God put that desire in your heart to say, hey, I want to be married someday. Well, best thing is to find someone who fears God. Someone who fears God. If you can find a spouse that fears God first, they're more concerned about pleasing God than they're concerned about pleasing you. I truly believe that is the best person you can become a partner with and get married to and be one flesh. Remember, you're going to be one flesh, you like it or not. So, uh, might as well find some good flesh to be attached to. One of the things also I want to encourage young women who are watching. I remember when I first married Maha, I was doing comedy, but also at the time I had a job, a great job at an tax accounting firm. I was doing payroll taxes, and uh, I remember the first year, almost a year into our marriage, the comptroller, they call him, pulled me into his office and he goes, Nazareth, you've been the employee of the month for many, many months, and you're great, one of our great employees. But somehow, upper management decided to discontinue your role. Just a little bit. They're saying we want you out of here, in a very polite way. And at the time, I was really praying. I said, Lord, I want to do comedy full time. I don't know how I can do it without this job, but I really want to do full time comedy. So God said, so that's what I prayed for. So when the controller said, Nazareth, I'm so sorry, and he was almost in tears. He's a great guy, and he goes, I really don't know what to tell you, but I don't know why they did that, but I tell you what, we're gonna give you a severance pay for 6 months. I said, what is that? He said, we're gonna pay you a 6 months salary. I said, you mean you're going to pay me for 6 months without me working with you? He goes, yes. I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I'm serious. That's, normal. I go, thank you so much. He goes, please, Naz, don't be sarcastic. I said, no, I'm serious. He goes, no, really, this is hurting me. To this day, this guy doesn't know I was not being sarcastic. I was thanking God at the moment for answering my prayer, because those 6 months I can really put my heart into my comedy and just propel it into a full time career. So I went home that day, and my bride was, just, and I said, "Honey, I just have some news for you." She goes, "What?" I go, "I just got laid off." She goes, "What does laid off means?" I said, "That means let go. That means I don't have to go to work tomorrow." She goes, "Oh, okay. So what are you gonna do?" I said, "I can get a job tomorrow with my credentials and payroll taxes." I said, I'll get a job tomorrow." She goes, "No, honey, you know what? God called you to do comedy. Go do comedy, and uh, we can survive." I said, "We're gonna starve for 10 years, honey, if just to get this going." She goes, "I don't mind. I'd rather starve with you than have you being in a job you don't like and just not living what God called you to do." And that, boom, that sealed the deal for me. I mean, Maha can ask for the world right now, and she gets it from me because that's what she committed to. She actually sacrificed for me, because she could have had, a much better life, much more stuff, but she sacrificed this life and also sacrificed the fact that she stayed home to raise the kids. We didn't. We made that deal. As she said, I said, "You can go to work if you want to, but if you don't have to." She said, "I'd rather just have kids and raise them, and I don't want to work." I said, "You don't have to work." And she kept her end of the deal. I kept my end of the deal, and it's just amazing where we are now. Praise God for that. But it took a lot of sacrifice on her part. And when, as a man, when you see your spouse sacrificing for you, uh, the least you can do is you sacrifice for them. And that's, I truly believe, this is what's making our marriage wonderful. And while we're waiting for Barry Brewer to get to the studio in Chicago and just catch us on this, I'm just gonna ask if you have any questions you have right now about marriage, about the relationships. I'm your counselor right now. You're a comedian, however, you're an entrepreneur as well. Conrad Padilla. Hello, Conrad. Yes, you have to be. It's called show business. And when you're in show business, 50% of your work is show, which is working on your act, your career, and all that. But you're also in business, so you gotta be an entrepreneur. You gotta know how to market. You know how to uh, how to plan, how to have meetings, how to write contracts, all that. Beverly Wick said, "Thank you, Nazareth, for sharing about the blessing you and Maha share in marriage. It is a beautiful testimony to all couples. May God continue to draw you closer together as you both grow closer." Amen. Thank you so much. One thing we do together is, well, we don't do it together, but we're in the same time. At the same time, we're both in the Word every morning. We spend time in the Word of God, and that's very, very important. All right. Hello, as we are waiting for my guest, Barry Brewer, Michael Ramirez, how are you? And thank you guys so much. If you have any questions about relationships, about marriage, about anything, I told you I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but I have 25 years of beautiful marriage. And I found that most marriages, someone one said, this is not me saying, they said, for women who wants to change their man, unless he's wearing diapers, you can't change him. Unless he's wearing diapers, you cannot change your man. So that's something is good to know. Also, I would say most of fights happen in marriage when one of the couple is hungry. When you're hungry, that's when you get hangry. And the best thing is keep a Snickers bar or something in your back pocket. So whenever your spouse, you come home or said, "I can't believe you said that. We need to sit and talk about this." You go, not before we have a Snickers bar or a chocolate cake, something, because you need some carbs. You need some carbs before you get in an argument, because that's what's gonna that's calming comfort food that makes you happy. All right. So if anyone has a question, please let me know. And also, I told you guys in the other show, a good friend of mine is have these wonderful vitamins that gonna um, it claims to lower your stress level and anxiety, and also helps you with lowering blood pressure, which I really need to, and also give you some focus and clarity and all that stuff. So, what I offered my audience on my show Live with Naz is I'm going to take them on the air. The minute they come in, they'll be coming here tomorrow or after. I'll be taking them on the air every single day, and I will be letting you know how I'm feeling, or if it's really lowering my blood pressure, or if it's whatever it's doing. And also, and if it does work, I want to challenge you to use them and to buy them. And I'm telling you, I've been with you guys 95 shows, and I've been with you in the other place for 319 shows. By the way, we're not having a show tonight because, as much as I love you guys, I want to spend it with my wife. Even though we're not celebrating, we celebrated Sunday. It's just good to spend that day with her to end that evening together. So, a carryover from last night: chocolate fixes everything. Chocolate does fix everything. Carbs really cute. Hi, Olivia. Hi. All right. So this was a beautiful picture of you and your wife you posted today, Naz. May you have many years to celebrate. Thank you. I love you guys. You're so awesome. So when you before you argue, eat some chocolate or cake or whatever. That will make you a lot happier, a lot nicer. And also, I always say, I don't have a perfect marriage, no such thing as a perfect marriage. I have a great marriage. It's not like I'm sitting in my recliner sleeping, and my wife is looking at me going, thank you, Lord, for my beloved. You give him sleep. He missed the trash truck twice in the last 2 weeks, but thank you that he can sit, do nothing, and sleep. And I don't look at the American Express bill and go, oh, thank you, Lord, that my wife at the mall walks by faith, not by sight. We don't do that. So it's not a perfect marriage. And Michael said, Naz and you and Meha have raised beautiful children. What has been the key for you guys? Your kids have a great head on their shoulders. I pray they do, and I think they do. I mean, my kids are no drugs, no problems, no alcohol. They don't even, John finally have, a girlfriend. Pure, the. I think what it is, Michael, is we don't we show him, we live it. We don't talk about it. We don't say don't do this, don't do that. We just live it. And so many times I explained to my kids. I said I was 28 when I came to Christ. I've done the drugs, I've done the drinking, I've done the getting the hangover, I've done the throwing up when you're drunk, I've done the bad relationship stuff. So, you know what? Like one time Greg Laurie said, I think he said, you know what's inside the trash can. Why do you want to go look in it? And I'm telling him, yeah, I'm telling you the results of what you are, like tempted to do. I'm telling you, I've been there, I've done that, and it's not good. So that kind of helped a little bit with them. And but God, lots of prayer. You pray for your kids every day. That's what it. Pastor Jack Casares, how are you? I am coming to Washington State. So far, October 29th, I'm going to be in Bellingham. We're still trying to pick up some other dates around this time, either on Thursday or on Saturday or Sunday morning or Sunday evening. I know it is Halloween alternative, but hey, I'm not that scary. So I'll be your alternative. Carrie, all right, let's see. Okay, and as we are still waiting for our friend, uh, okay, got you 5 minutes. Okay, and he is, all right, I'm waiting. So if you have any questions, wearing diapers. Yes, if you want to change, uh, if you have any questions about relationships, about marriage, uh, you know, it's also some of the stuff that helped with our marriage. I don't know if it helped or was a burden. Is I traveled, so a lot of times, like during a month, I am gone 2 weekends. So 4 days or 5 days. I try not to be more than that out of town. So for Maha, she had to step up and become a single mom when I'm gone. So when I'm gone, she is acting, she's taking responsibility and all that. And when I come home, she gives it back to me, and she becomes the mom again, not just the single mom. So that kind of, maybe she made her miss me more being gone. But travel can be a burden on a marriage. But when you're always, one of the things I do when I'm on the road, I always make sure at the end of the evening I'm on the phone with my wife. That's the hardest temptation time for you as a traveling salesperson, as an entertainer, as someone who's working. It's in the end of the evening. It's when you're tired, when it's late, when nobody's watching you. That's when you have that capacity to look at something bad, to watch something bad, to say. So I've always ended my day talking to my wife. We'll pick up the phone and we end the evening. And most of the time, I'm in the East Coast, so it makes it a lot better for her. It's not that late for her, so I can talk to her for an hour or so and just go over how the show was, how our life was, and this is what's going on. Alrighty, and let's see. Uh, all right, I am waiting for Mr. Here he is. Okay, I'm going to introduce our guest, Barry Brewer. And so, before I bring him on, Barry Brewer is quickly on the rise as one of Hollywood's most multifaceted stars. As an accomplished comedian, actor, and musician, he is currently the star of BET's highly anticipated series Tyler Perry's Bra. The half hour original comedy follows four college friends in their 30s as they navigate the world of dating, careers, and friendship in the present day society. The show premiered in 2020 on BAT Plus. He also recently released an inspirational album titled Conquer Goliath, which he performed, wrote, and composed. The pop and R&B project is currently available on all major music streaming platforms, including Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and many others. On stage, his live hour-long stand-up comedy special, Barry Brewer's Chicago I'm Home, is available in many major platforms: Amazon, Apple, Vudu, BET Plus, etc. He also recently created, produced, and hosted the stand-up special, The Next Generation of Stand-Up. Each episode will feature three rising comics in an effort to give the platform to the next wave of comedians in urban communities. Both were shot in his hometown of Chicago with the support of his community. On television, he has appeared in numerous shows, including Kevin Hart's Guide to Black History, BET's Games People Play, and BET's Comic View, among many others. Brewer is a native of the south side of Chicago, and he emerged into the world of comedy in 2001. He continues to inspire those around him, most recently with the inception of his production company, Only Believe Entertainment. In addition to his comedy, Brewer is a musician, like we said. All right, so welcome to the show, my good friend Barry Brewer. How are you?
I'm well, Nazareth. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been such an evening, but I made it. So thank God
So
I did.
you were at the gym.
I was at the gym with my son. I have a workout. My son is in sports, and I committed to Tuesdays and Thursdays, working him out. And
H- How old is he?
he's 11.
Oh, and you
He's
take him to the gym at 11.
at 11. He's very serious. He's serious about basketball and getting to the highest level and being great at that level. So I had him on some AAU teams, and so we do a run where he gets to really learn hands on to get better. So it's a
Have you
commitment.
played have you played basketball yourself?
Yes, I did play
So
basketball.
you can really, teach him and all that. That's the best thing, man.
Yes, yes. I had a passion for it long, when I was younger, but didn't have the resources and the opportunity to develop early on so that I could, you know, play at a high level. So I'm trying to make sure he has like all the, intangibles to have the opportunity to go as far as he would, he'll push himself to take him. So
Did your dad do that with you?
my dad did not. My dad wasn't around, unfortunately. So
Mm.
I kind of found basketball just on my own, and kind of picked it up, and just it became a passion of mine. But no, my dad wasn't around.
Oh, were you? You said you were born and raised in the south side of Chicago, which is one of the hardest places to be born and raised in. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I guess you don't know how hard it is because that's where you grew up at, so you just learn how to adapt. But I guess growing up, seeing life now, I could say it was tough, but I didn't know that then. I just what was life for me. I learned a lot. I'm so grateful for the humble beginnings because I think I can appreciate blessings now, having things and resources and just things I didn't have growing up. I think not having it makes me appreciate it so much today. Growing up in a single family home and seeing drugs and alcohol discouraged me personally. I've never drunk or smoked, not judging anybody that do, but because of how I saw it in the worst way, it's something I never wanted to do because of it. Seeing it with my mom and around my neighborhood. So it inspired me to not want to do those things, and I'm grateful for it today. So
That's amazing. I mean, really. I mean, right in the last what you've been up 2 minutes. My hat off. I have so much appreciation as a dad, as a young man who's really. You said your father wasn't around. Was your mom an alcoholic?
yes,
Or
she was. My mom was
she was?
alcoholic. She was on drugs, doing crack. Um, yeah, she.
So who raised you?
My mom. My mom raised me.
And
I kind of was on my own around 16, so I was getting kicked out the house between 13 and 16. And around 16 is kind of when I was on my own. So I supported myself from 16 to today.
please forgive me for asking. I mean, what was it like when your mom was under the influence when you were like 8, 9, 10? How did you react? What did you do? Did you hide? Did you what was that like?
I wasn't no hiding from it. I had to deal with it. I remember my mom waking me up all the times of night, being very paranoid that people were against her. Her getting into it with my stepfather, the police coming, her being gone, nobody there in the morning time for me to get me and my younger brothers together for school. Um, uh, just
I'm
being.
losing your voice.
You're losing my voice. Can you
Okay,
hear me
it's
now?
back down. Now I can hear you back.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Just it was a lot of dark things, but I never hid. I just would come home hoping she wasn't. It's usually on the weekend. My mom was a functional addict, so she was
Mm,
still able to keep a job and to keep a roof over our heads. And so, like I said, I just dealt with it. I used to go to church. I used to pray for her. I am grateful to say my mom is not. She doesn't drink anymore. She doesn't do drugs.
amen.
So, amen to that. She's doing well, enjoying her life. So, but yeah, it was tough. It was tough. It definitely was tough growing up. I don't talk about it often because it was such a place. I used to wish I was someone else. I wish I was in a different life. I used to wish I was my cousins because I just felt like they had it so well. But I think as I've gotten older, I'm so grateful for the tough times because I really truly believe that it's pushed me to want to be great and to believe that God can do, anything.
Amen. Were you the oldest sibling? Did you have other brothers and sisters? You were
Yeah.
the oldest.
Yes, I'm the oldest of three boys. So my brother below me is 5 years younger than me. Then my youngest brother is 7 years younger than me.
So you were kind of like the father figure for them, or like to helping them out.
Yeah, I was the father figure, literally. I remember early on in life them telling me Happy Father's Day. I just left my youngest brother, but um, yeah, I was, and I had to be, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. It gave me a crash course in parenting early on,
Uh,
so I was able.
when did the comedy? When did you feel, hey, I'm funny?
I don't think I ever felt I was funny. I love to laugh. I felt I was funny was when I first got on stage as a teenager in front of the church, and it gave me a standing ovation. And that's when I felt funny.
what got you to church? Was it your, yeah, I mean,
My
how
grandparents,
was
my
your what? Your
grandparents asked
grandma.
my mom. Yeah, my grandparents asked my mom could they take me to church when I was smaller. So on the weekend I would go to church. My grandparents would come pick me up, who's actually my cousins, but it's a whole long story. My mom's mom passed when she was young, and so she was raised by her great aunt. And yeah, so anyway, my grandparents, who's my cousins, like my third, fourth cousins, took me to church on the weekend, and that was my opportunity to get out the hood, to get out away from the bad things, and that's what opened up my curiosity to music, to sports. It was like a get out. It was like a dream, like to get away from home and to get away from all that. I absolutely love church. It's the reason why I'm here, because it has so many young people. That's why I love church today, because even if you're not so, you don't know God yet, if you stay around or you have some things that attracts you to a place that has good people, you'll stumble up upon Jesus somehow.
So you were 11 the first time. How much time did you do, and what were you talking? Do you
Oh
remember?
yes, I remember some of my jokes. My first joke was about how every church has a Mother Jenkins. That's not her name, but every church has a Mother Jenkins, and Mother Jenkins is real nice to you in your face, but when you walk away, she talks about you. So I, so I would do the voice. I was like, how you doing, baby? You look real nice with those plaid and polka dots. Who dressed you? Oh, okay. Well, I see you next Sunday. Then you walk away. She's like, oh, Stevie Wonder must have dressed her this morning. Ooh, he picked her outfit out. The devil is busy this evening in her wardrobe. So
That's funny. And
uh,
you got a standing ovation.
I got a stand ovation. You know what was crazy? I remember this like yesterday. I was talking, Mother Jenkins, the character, was talking about a lady named Sister Palmer and how she wasn't matching. Apparently, there was a Sister Palmer at the church
Oh
who
no.
wasn't matching, and it was a thing, and I didn't know. So that's why the crowd was even like laughing so much harder, because they knew that I didn't know her. So it was just so ironic.
So what
Yeah.
was your next show after that? After that 11-year-old, what was the next show?
Um, My next show was at another church. I didn't do so well. And somebody asked me, somebody asked me to come for a concert, and they put me up at a wrong time. Like the spirit was high, like the spirit in the church was high. So to put
Yeah.
me up like right after that was like crazy. So everybody's just looking at me like, "What is he? Well, why are we doing this?"
You
Uh,
can't follow the Holy Spirit, man. You
no, no,
can't.
that's the headliner for sure. Uh, But yeah, from there on, man, I started getting into comedy clubs and doing comedy everywhere, because it was only so certain amount of opportunities to do it in church. But I went to the club and I was clean and I was
How
doing well.
old were you when you did the club?
When I started getting the clubs, I was like 18, 19.
Oh, okay. So you
But I had this other comedian. They would help me get into the club because I still wasn't old enough. You have to be 21.
right.
But some of the comedians knew me from around, so they would help me get in and tell them I was a comedian. They would let me in to get me into the clubs because I wasn't old enough. But they would let me in and let me do my stuff.
Were you clean back then?
I was. I've been clean the whole time. I did try to cuss on stage once, and I never tried it again. I remember like it was yesterday. I was like 19. Leslie Jones, she's on Saturday Night Live. She was on the movie Ghostbusters. She was headlining.
Uh,
And I knew I was on the show. I was like, oh, I felt like I had to be different. And I said, okay, I got to go up there and be blue. That's what, that means cuss. So I was like, I'm going to use these cuss words. And it's funny because I never really used profanity in my normal life. So I don't know
I know
why.
you don't.
So I don't know why I thought that this would make more sense to do it in the stand up. So I probably got up there cussing all wrong, didn't know where to put it at. And I didn't do good at all. And so from then on, I didn't use profanity. I did that one time, and I never did it again. So I don't. I never, other than that one time of trying it, because I was already doing it. And I was already funny, but I wanted to kind of be, I guess, like everybody else for that moment, and it didn't work out for me.
You know, this is interesting because at one point I was the president of the Christian Comedy Association. We had 300 members, and one of the things you notice, and mostly, and I'm not trying to group one group together, but a lot of African American comedians I noticed they're at church on Sunday and they do clean show on for a church, but during the week, I mean, they're in the clubs cussing and all that, and it's very difficult. I mean, there are very, very few. I think it's Michael Jr., Bone Hampton, yourself, Jason Earls. It's very few comedians, African American comedians that
Mhm.
and a lot of them. I asked him, I said, "So what's wrong with that? I mean, I'm at church on Sunday. What is your thoughts about that? Why are you different?"
I think it has a lot to do with the culture of black
Mm.
people because we grew up in some, not in my church. My church was really holiness, so you didn't hear no cussing. But in some churches, in African American churches, like Baptist churches, no offense, not all Baptist churches, obviously. I want to get like a whole flood of people like, oh, you're saying we're this. So please let me preface like, this is not everybody. But in some ministries, they saw that growing up. They saw grandma, they saw the deacon, sometimes using profanity at home, right? And going to
Mm.
church. So I think it's just, black people, we do use profanity in life, some of us. But I think that some of those people saw that growing up. So I think that that's why they become that, right? Like I didn't see that.
Mm.
My grandma didn't use profanity. Like I didn't use profanity because of that, right? Church was, I grew up in holiness, and holiness is really strict, and so using profanity was a no-no. But as I started to be a musician and travel and play for different ministries, I saw that other people weren't so, a stickler. They would do things that I didn't think represented Christ, but was no judgment. But I think that people do that because of that's what they've seen growing up. So
Now, how did you get into music? Who taught you? What did you play? What instruments did you do? I know
yeah,
you're a drummer.
yes, I was a drummer initially. I got a piano right there. I might go jump on it for you. Um, um, I started with the drums at church, just play by ear. I never playing by ear. Played the drums, started on that, learned the saxophone, and then I moved on to the organ and the piano. And I just kind of picked it up at church, and it was a gift. I learned how to play by ear.
Wow.
It's a God gift. Like I can pick up a song, and I can't explain it, but say it's a gift from God.
Man, what was it when you went on stage at age 18, you're in a comedy club? What was your dream like? What was like, where did you thought you would be right now?
My dream was to be. I always looked at Martin Lawrence's career,
Uh-huh.
somebody I really admired. Him and Sinbad was two of
Oh
my
yeah.
favorites. And if I could mesh their career together, like maybe the style of Sinbad, but the success of Martin Lawrence, that's how I saw my success.
Mm.
But that being said, as I started to journey this career, you see that you tell God your plans, and then he'll laugh at you. But but I'm so grateful for where I am. I moved to LA at 21, chasing my dream, and more recently, I started getting TV opportunities and things like that. But I'm so grateful because I was young, so I've learned so much, I've grown so much, I've matured so much. So, uh, but I thought that I would be. I just knew I would make it. I just never knew when. But I saw myself.
Let me clarify. You made it, man. I mean, when I'm talking about you're working with, Tyler Perry and doing all these shows and you having your own, production. What do you call it? Production company, all that. I mean, you're there. I mean, we all put what we think success is. I mean, you're there. You're accomplished. I'm just saying because I'm a comedian too, and you're always never satisfied with where you're at, and that's where my question comes.
Yes, definitely. No, I don't think I'm there, but thank you. I do appreciate it. I think I'm there when I can give people, when I can change lives through giving jobs. That's when I think I've made it. When I can change someone's life, right? Like I look at
Mm.
Mr. Perry, Tyler Perry, and the position he's in. Like in my mind, that's making it. When you have been blessed with the power to help somebody's life, when you give them a job, their whole life changes for the better. So I look forward to that one day. But yes, I am blessed and I have been able to put some fill up the resume. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, you have a great resume. And one of my fans asked this question, and it says, Mr. Brewer, while Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy are influential people in your life while growing up playing organ in church, obviously a big fan of yours, who had an influence on your Christian walk, And are you able to be the same positive influence to others through your walk with the Lord or your comedy?
Yes, I am. When I speak of my walk, I think that you're more. It's about the being genuine and sincere. I think sometimes, and not to, I can get really deep, but it's about being genuine, being sincere, and being honest. I think sometimes as Christians, we don't show our other parts. So as a
Mm.
comedian and somebody who's making people laugh, I also like to be real about life and all the different tribulations we go through and how maybe I didn't get it right that time. Maybe I didn't make the right decision. Maybe I didn't say the right thing there. But God still loves me and He can forgive me, and I'm not my mistakes. And this is how I continue to push forward because God has a purpose for me. God has a destiny for me. And I am responsible for getting there. And despite what mistakes I make, and God is still with His hands open saying, come, So I think I try to do that in all that I do, in my comedy, just in my life, in my lifestyle, in everything I do. I try to represent God. I try to do the right thing that God would have me to do. And that's how I try to be an inspiration or encourage people that they want to know more about me and say, what's different about you, that I can then have the conversation and say it's Christ.
Right. And you have during the pandemic you did those motivational Monday things and your album Conquering Goliath. Tell us more about that project.
Yes, motivational Mondays is a part of me. It's, in the comedian world, we're all trying to build our brands, and the internet is such a thing. We're doing what we can, but motivation was something I always do. And motivational Mondays is just me sharing what I'm applying in my life to help me get to the dreams and destiny I believe God has for me. So that's that. Conquer Goliath is a music side. As I told you, I grew up playing music in church, and Motivational Mondays is a big part. So as I was doing this album, I was like, man, I want to express myself musically, and I wanted to inspire. I felt like, you hear some songs that's really inspirational, but not often do you hear an inspirational album, like a whole entire album. You hear gospel or Christian music, but you don't hear an album like you can do it, you can go, like when you go work out or when you're going to run a marathon or when you're going to have a a match of some sort in a sport, like what can pump you up, you know what I mean? And Goliath
Mm.
represents that thing that you're afraid of, that big giant, as we know it with David and Goliath. So that album is what inspired that. I said I wanted to have something that people could play and be inspired and encouraged, that no matter what's in front of them, no matter how afraid they are, to go after it anyway.
Now, if God appears to you and say, "Okay, you can only either do music, or you can only do comedy," what would you go for?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm
I
gonna say comedy.
Comedy, yeah, I
I'm gonna say,
thought so.
yeah, I'm gonna say comedy first. I
You
love.
are hilarious. You have energy. I mean, I remember when we had you at the Crossroads, we had 3,000 people, and you were killing to the point I was like, I better get my A material because this guy to follow you was
Thanks,
hard. But
man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I have another question from the same person, Crystal, and since we covered this area, I feel comfortable asking this. She said, "Growing up like me with a parent who struggled with addiction must have been very tough. I know that for me, it shaped negatively who I am today. I never did forgive him, and
Mhm.
our relationship remained rough until his passing. Have you been able to forgive your mom and restore your relationship with her?"
Yes. First of all, and I'm praying for her that she has forgave him and that she does. I've learned that forgiveness is for me. I shouldn't allow. Yes, I did forgive my mom. I forgave my dad. I forgave anybody that's did anything because I understood that they didn't have all the tools to be the best that they needed to be, um, and they tried to do the best they could with what they had. And I forgave them, and I'm grateful for the things they were able to do because I saw that the things that I lacked and the things that I went through shaped me to push and to be motivated to go after greatness. So I did forgive them because I learned that forgiveness is for me not to carry that weight on my shoulders of being upset and bitter and jaded about what they did or did not do for me as a child, and knowing that God somehow allowed it to be that way for His purpose, and that it will work together for the good. And because of that, I've been seeing the fruit of that. as I've been living, that God has truly blessed me. And when I made mistakes, I believe God has forgiven me because I forgave them.
That is amazing. Well done. Well done. Your project is called Chicago. I'm coming home. Is that what it's called?
Chicago, I'm home. Yes.
Chicago. I'm home. And what was that? Because you went back to where you grew up in the side of Chicago, and you did the album. And how was the community supported that? How did they react to you?
Man, that was so. Just let me share with you my goal and my dream when I first started comedy was to always do my stand up special. And I always wanted to come back to where it all started at. So I rented out a theater downtown Chicago. I didn't have anybody backing me. I went and raised money from family members and friends to produce it. I packed it out. Two shows. It's a 750 seater theater. I did not know if people was going to show up. I was it wasn't nothing but God up to like showtime. I didn't know who would show up. This guy at the last minute, he's a singer, a gospel singer, and he sings R&B and inspiration. Now his name is Molly Music. Came and did a free performance for me. He's my musical guest.
Mm,
So I promoted it with that, and so it just was such a blessing. Like as I said, to go from the South Side to downtown and to make it and to fill up two shows with 750 people was just God. And comedy is like basketball. You have great games sometimes, and sometimes you just can't miss. With the jump
right.
as it's
Yeah.
hit, you can't miss. But you ain't always knowing. Like you don't know what day it's gonna be. You just gotta go warm up and hope that the shot fall. So that day was that. It's like God, I want this to be special, and God just allowed it to flow. I created some jokes on stage as the Tamers is going in the special that I just came up with on stage right then.
Wow. I
So
mean, normally you don't do new material when you're
not
taping.
no, you do not. But it was just flowing that way. I did an hour and 20 something minutes, both shows. So all the
You
material didn't make it, obviously, but it was just a blessing, man. I can't even like from the production side of it. I directed it from every aspect, promoting it. Like I learned so many things, and it just was my faith because I didn't know. I didn't know that it would get. I had no place for it to land. I didn't have a distribution deal. I didn't have anything. It was just me going on faith to say, "Hey, I believe I'm ready to have my own special." And it's premiered on the CW network
right.
nationally. It was on the day premiered mine, Louis Anderson, and a few other comedians during the pandemic. So I was like, how many stand-up specials made it on network TV? So God is definitely just blessed. And it was it just fueled my faith more because I'm only believe for real. Like I really believe in for God to do even greater.
Now, in that special, I saw a little bit of it, and you did a bit about how worship is different in a white church than a black church. But
Yes.
I want to know how is comedy is different in a white church than a. You've done both.
Yes.
How,
Oh, it's
how
very
is
different.
how is that? Tell me.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm learning right now. I've done both many times, but I want to get your perspective on it.
Definitely. It's about culture. Black African Americans, we are okay, so I'm gonna say mainstream and the urban crowd. That's why I'm gonna kind of separate them as those two.
Okay,
Mainstream crowd, they believe that you're good because you're on stage. I don't have to know you. The fact that you're performing, they value that. They're like, oh, you must be good. You're up there. Black people, you got to almost light yourself on fire. They will not like you got to super impress them because if they don't know you, they automatically think you're not good because they think that they would have known you if you were
that's
good.
amazing. That is so right. You look at the Apollo, and you're right. They don't want You better be good, or else we give you 1 minute.
Quick. So that's the big difference, right? And um and we're very passionate. The urban crowd is passionate. So sometimes when you come off very like in mainstream, you can just come up there real lackadaisical and relaxed and just talk to them and they'll listen. You know, urban crowds like you gotta you gotta yell a little bit. You gotta be a little aggressive. What's up? How you doing? Like that's what gets our attention. That we're assertive people.
Energy.
We're
Yeah, you gotta
energy.
give energy.
Everything's energy for us. Everything is assertive for us. So and I embrace it. I love it. But I had to learn it. And when I'm doing both crowds, it's a difference. It just is. And you learn how to work both crowds as a comic.
Okay, let's see. My camera just went off, so
Yeah,
let
you
me try this.
disappeared.
Okay, let me try this
This is
real
my
quick.
show now, everybody. Welcome to
Yeah, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take it from here. Take it from here. Okay, let's
That's
see.
he's
Uh,
back.
I'm
Give it up for
back.
my guest,
Okay.
comedian Nazareth.
Thank you. Let me ask you this. You lived in Chicago and you lived in LA.
Yes.
What's the difference in the crowds, in the comedy crowds?
Oh, that's a great question. The LA crowd is bougie because they see
Okay.
Dave Chappelle walks in, Paul Mooney would walk in, Bob Saget, right? Dan Cook, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart. They walk in any club at any point. Very frequently, you see anybody and everybody. Sarah Silverman, like they'll just come and get on stage. So they become like spoiled.
Mm,
Like in other cities like Chicago, if you get up there and rock, like they paid their money, they're blue collar, like they're not spoiled. So if you're funny,
mm.
you get up there and you can really get them. They just, you know what I mean. But yeah, I think the LA crowd is just they bougie. They're like, oh, you're not Amy Schumer,
Yeah.
So I think that that's the difference. So sometimes when you're performing in LA, you're pulling teeth sometimes early on because it's kind of like the urban crowd thing, but it's not urban. It's just like a little. It's like, who are you? What's your credits? I never seen you on TV, right?
Right.
You like,
Right.
so you got to go up there and prove yourself. I've done the improv and yeah, and I had to prove myself. And as a comic coming from where I come from, I have no problems with proving myself. But that's the difference. You got to work a lot harder early on with those crowds.
That's a very good explanation. That's really it's so right. You're right. That audience is really bougie. Yeah. What are you working on? What are you working on right now?
Great question. I'm working on another album called Villain Hero, musical
Villain
album.
Hero.
Villain
Oh, it's a
Hero.
music album.
Yes.
So you're gonna
That
be singing.
I'm gonna be singing. Yes.
And you produce it and you edit. What do you think of Kanye West? Where is he at right now? He dropped a new album and I was listening to it. It's a lot of worship, but my daughter was saying it's not as good as the last albums. Did you get to hear it or something?
Yes, I'm a Kanye West fan as it relates. He's one of my favorite rappers and creators. He's a very creative, very talented person. I try not to let his who he is and then his artistry like are different to me. Like some of the antics and things like that. I try to separate the two. I think he has another album called Donda or something that he's doing. He has like a mask on his face or something. It looks a little
Mm,
dark. But
mm,
the gospel album, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It comes back to his first single, "Jesus Walk with Me," which I loved.
mm.
That was his claim to fame song early on. He's from Chicago, the South Side. Um, a great story, as it relates to that. I try to just encourage people. I pray, you don't know what people are dealing with, but as it relates to his artistry, I'm a fan. I think he's talented. I think God has truly blessed him with a gift. I'm grateful to know that he always acknowledges that God is definitely who he is. I know he gets a lot of slack from the Christian community, especially the Black Christian community, because of who he is outside of other parts of him. But I'm just grateful you have somebody in the forefront at least
Yeah.
acknowledging God is God. So for me, I just want to keep praying for him and encouraging him and pray he continues to, find who God purposed him to be and follow that.
Yeah.
Because
And
people don't understand what it is.
Chance the Rapper is also from Chicago and all that.
Yes,
Why
he is.
is it? Why is all the great singer rappers are from Chicago?
Man, I think God is a lot of talent comes out of hardship and
Mm,
trouble and I just think it is not just Chicago, New York, and these places where it's just hard to live and to grow, and people are just very talented. And I don't know if that's how God made it, but yeah, I don't know.
You
It's
know,
just
Joey Ilo, another funny comic, he said, "What's up, Barry? The nicest
what's up,
comic in
Joy?
LA I know."
Yeah, what's up,
uh,
man?
hmm. Let me ask you this question, and it just you worked with Kevin Hart,
Yes.
yes, and you've been in a show. What is he like? What is he in the faith part? Have you
I
talked about that?
I haven't talked personally with Kevin about his faith, but I know he believes in God. I know he believes in Jesus because of how his mom raised him. But as it relates to in detail his walk and how that works, I know that he always acknowledges how God has blessed him and where he is. I've heard him say that. I feel like he understands God has blessed him, how he carries himself. He goes out his way to speak to people. He tries to remain humble. Every time I've seen him in person, he always never treats people, less than. And I think that's really, he really cares about the people alongside of him. He still remains to be a good person. I saw him early on, before his success, and if see him today, he's the same person. Just like Tiffany
Same.
Haddish, yeah, they are people that's God has allowed them to remain grounded, even though they've been so blessed in so many ways, and I think that's why they continue to be blessed.
Amen, amen. And let's see, your next comedy album, will it be shot here in LA or in Chicago?
I am working on my next comedy album. I have no idea where it be shot. That's a great question. It probably won't be shot in LA, but yeah, I just want to go. Like I told you, the crowds.
Yeah.
I want to
Oh,
go.
the bougie. Yeah, that's right. I should have never asked that
Yeah, I want to go
question.
to a place. No offense, LA. I want to go to a place where they just really appreciate you and they're so grateful for you to be there. It's just no greater feeling than being some place where they really excited and feel blessed to have you.
Right. Let me ask you this. How do you write your bits? Because you do bits and just amazing. You have a bit about you went on a gay date and you didn't know about it. And that's, I mean, you're a Christian. I knew you're not going to go anywhere wrong with it, but it was so fun. How do you write? What is, I mean, from beginning to end, what is a bit like?
That's so funny. I feel like I write a premise down and I go on stage and try to figure it out.
Mm.
I try because sometimes I call it when your gift is working. You ever on stage and you say something that you did not write and it hits? I call
Yes.
that the gift working. That's when the gift is working. When God's gift. Sometimes you can't write it. It's the gift working that God's gifted you with.
Uh
So
huh.
for me, I think a lot of my jokes have came from me having premises, getting on stage, allowing the gift to work, and to find out, filming it, watching it again, like, oh, that says that. Well, I see an expression, and then building it from there, going back on stage, adding that piece. Remember
Mm.
the little moments I did on the first show that went well, and then the things where it didn't go so well. I try to tweak those, because it's like you're building something. It's like a puzzle. You put that piece and you step back and you say, okay, like a bit is that. Like it's not just very simple, because especially when you want to talk about yourself, like I try to talk about real life. I try to talk about my life and my relationships. I try to talk from a real place. So sometimes it's just funny for what it is, but sometimes you need to sit here and build it out. Right. I'm working on some stuff about my wife and how I started off as I'm gonna be the man in the house, but I'm deteriorating because I don't have the energy to be the leader no more because she wins. You get what I'm saying? So but I want to show this bit I'm working on. I want to show how we start off strong and how we lose momentum and we start just going, and the woman be still like, hi, just, and we just fighting to be the leader all the day. You end up losing every single time in every couple relationship you see it. But um, so I write the premise down. I get on stage. I kind of talk about the premise. I record it. Come back. I listen to it. I tweak it. I see what I can add. I go back on stage. Do that same process again, and continue to build that bit out until it's like good. But you know what's crazy? You
Mm.
continue to build bits only when you do on TV. But you start adding something. You're like, oh man, I wish I would have did that on
I
the
wish
stage.
I did that. Yeah.
So I
So
until yeah.
So you work hard. I want the younger comic who are watching and listening to know that some people think, oh, you just go up on stage and just wing it and do it, but you are what do you call it? You are really a working comic. You build the bit together, and that's amazing. Uh, Bobby Miller, a friend of mine, is asking, are you tight with Lecrae? Are you good friends? Do you guys talk?
I've never met Lecrae. I look forward to meeting him one day. I listen to his music, but no, I've never met Lecrae. Um,
Who's good? Who's good right now as a comedian? Who's
who's
out
good?
there?
Oh,
Yeah, out
I'm
there.
getting comedians. Where do I stop? Zaynab, Johnson, Tyree Lane, Clayton Thomas, Ron G. Uh, what's his name? He's one of my favorites to watch. Oh my God, what's his name? Henry Coleman, Corey Fernandez, Ruben Warren, uh, Nate Jackson.
Those
Uh,
are all new guys, huh?
oh yeah, but
Or
they're not even new. They've been doing comedy for 15 plus years. It's just that we don't know them. But it's so many. I can keep going. So
no,
it's so many.
now how is comedy have changed in the clubs? Now you know me, I do bigger arenas. I haven't been to the clubs a lot, but
Hmm.
how has comedy changed from 10 years ago, for example?
I don't think it's changed. I don't
Mm.
think it's changed at all. I think that it's just newer people. I think comedy's becoming a thing. Everybody's trying it, but I don't think it's changed. I still see the same. If it's new people, it seems like the same system. You're trying to get on stage, you're trying to prove yourself. You got the older veterans looking at the younger comedians like y'all still wet behind the ears. Y'all need to go and work on your craft. Like just like everybody did you when you were first coming up. Like it's just the same cycle happening over and over again.
But I mean, as far as woke, like being, politically correct, you can't talk about this. You gotta
Oh, that's night and
that
day.
part,
Oh, that's
night
different.
and day.
Oh, yes, that's totally different from 10 years ago. You can't sneeze on stage without getting canceled. I think people are just very sensitive, and I think because the gatekeepers control the medium, they can try to stop or try to take away from what you are and what you do because of them not agreeing with your perspective. I don't think that's okay. I think comedy and poetry used to be one of the last self expressions, and like the person could say what they feel in those spaces, and nobody judged them. Whether it was racist or not, whatever. Like that was a space where you could kind of get away with all of those things, and nobody. We would laugh. Especially
Yeah,
you have to be creative with it, obviously.
right.
But yeah, I think it's become night and day in that regards. For me personally, though, I just always try to do things, even when I did the gay day joke, I just try to do things with a certain level of love behind it. And I always try to talk to people who are maybe in that lifestyle to ask them, hey, how does this make you feel? Because I've had some people respond negatively to the joke. They say,
Mm.
oh, you're bashing or this is negative. And so, not a lot, but a few, but you can't please everybody. I was like, I'm still a heterosexual man talking about my experience. It's like, like you can't mention, you know what I mean? But for me,
Yeah.
I just feel like if you do it in love and, you know, you're still going to get some backlash if you want to talk about any sensitive subject. So,
Jeff Allen, a very funny comedian, he said this. He said, when people complain about his bits, he said, show me where the malice is because I don't want to be malicious, but I don't mind addressing the ridiculous. You
I
know what
love,
I mean?
I love that. That's
I
great.
love that. That
That's
was
well said.
amazing.
And you stop them. That's how you take the power from them, right? Because when
Right.
you can't point out any malice, you can't point out that. I think it doesn't give them any legs to stand on. Anybody, whoever it is, you know.
Eh,
And then as an African American man who knows the history of this country and all that we've been through, I feel like I have another like just perspective on like I don't know, a passageway to say what I want. Because and it ain't coming from a bad place, right? Like everybody gets jokes. Everybody gets cracked on. in a
Yeah.
good way, in a loving way. And
Yeah.
what in black culture, like if your cousin was handicapped or he cracked jokes on you, you crack jokes
Y-
on him. Like that's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and it was love. It wasn't malice. It wasn't nothing evil. It was fun. We laugh and we go about our day and we love each other and we help each other and we continue to grow as a family. So I hope that we can get back to that.
I hope I I I have a feeling that we will get back. People gonna get tired, especially in the comedy arena where like you want to express yourself, you want to talk about the culture, and if you can't talk about the culture, and what are you gonna do? So hopefully this will pass.
I believe so. Dave Chappelle give us hope because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. He did. If your son said that I want to be a comedian, what do you say to him?
he got to work hard. I'm
You
working on.
would.
These are three things I'm working on my son with. I said, son, whether it be basketball or anything, you need to focus. You need to give all your focus, all your effort, and have a good attitude.
Mm,
Period. No matter what it is you're trying to do, and I would encourage him to do it. He had said early on in life that he wanted to be a comedian. He still says it now. He's done some jokes, um, but I would encourage it. I would encourage it. I think that you should try whatever you think you want to do. Like I just want to really give my children hope to just go dream and go for it. We put everybody in a box. Go to
mm.
college and just work a job for someone. And if that's what you want to do, then by all means go do that. But if it's a child that wants to paint or wants to create or wants to
Uh oh, I lost you. Uh oh, we lost Barry Brewer. So now I have to welcome him again, even though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Barry Brewer. Welcome to the show. How are you, Barry? Welcome to the show.
somebody call me. I'm sorry. I was on my phone.
No problem. I mean, we're in the last few minutes of this show, so I know you're a great motivator. I want you to encourage the people who are watching and listening, and I want you to know this show is doing well in Russia, in New Zealand, of course, in the US. We're in the top 50 podcasts and stand-up comedies.
Congratulations. That's a
So
blessing. Congratulations.
that's a blessing.
And thank you again so much for always opening your platform up for me. I don't take that for granted. We was talking about comics and just the world that we live in. People are not as kind to always call on you and to give you work and to look out for you. So I'm very grateful for you. Very grateful for you and your family. And thank you for always just being who you are. I do appreciate you greatly.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you so much. And also, there's a special because today is my 25th anniversary, and I've canceled the live with Nats tonight. So if you're waiting for the 8:30 p.m. show tonight, which is every weeknight at 8:30, we're not. I love you guys, but I'd rather spend it with my wife. But
Okay.
I really wanted to get this. I get Barry on the show. So
Thank you.
in those few
Congratulations
minutes.
on 20 years.
Before you encourage the people, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm on all social media platforms. Barry Brewer Jr. Barry with an A, Barry Brewer, Brewer, Jr. as in Junior. Please follow me on social media. I have a YouTube page where I post content, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, um, MySpace. No, I don't. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Hey, any more episodes of the Perfect Plan coming?
Oh, thank you so much. No, not yet, but I do have a series that I'm dropping in 3 weeks called K and K that I wrote and produced that will be on my platform. I just produced it last week. It's 8 episodes. It's called K and K. It's a comedy about a couple from two different worlds. Imagine Steve Urkel dating Rihanna and them trying to coexist. So that's what this show is about. So it's a comedy. It's going to be hilarious.
All right. Okay. I'll leave it to you to encourage the people as we're closing. You're good at that.
Oh, well, thank you so much for this opportunity. If anything you want to do in life, I'm living it. I'm believing it. It's all about your belief system. I know that people have discouraged us to believe that dreams don't come true. I know that sometimes as we get older, We believe that it's too late to chase our dreams. We believe that we've missed the window of opportunity. We believe that because we're not good at something, or we've never tried something before, or maybe we've even failed at it before, that, that's not for us. I just want you to understand that greatness is on the other side of failure. Greatness is on the other side of mistakes. You have to believe it first and then continue to work and work to get to wherever you want. And I want you to know that dreams still do come true, but you have to believe. And when you believe, and how you know you're believing, you start to use whatever, any and everything in your power to help you get to whatever those things are that you're dreaming and believing for. So stop making excuses about who you don't know and what you don't have. What do you have? What can you start doing? If you want to be a news reporter, start reporting the corner and what's happening on your in your house. Like, start wherever. Like, it doesn't matter how small. You want to be a singer, record some on your phone. Start create a Facebook or YouTube and just start singing cover tunes. See what happens. Like, start somewhere. Stop making excuses that you don't have what you need to get to your dreams. If you failed and you say, I really want to do this, but I'm not good. Well, to get good at something, you have to practice. You didn't just start walking, you failed a lot. You didn't just start riding the bike. You got some scars to prove that. But you got back up, you got back on that bike, and you kept riding. So I need you to know that dreams do come true. Continue to believe and see it come to pass.
Amen. Thank you so much, brother. I'm so glad you're a believer because I can see where material can go bad, but I mean, as far as dirty, but you are so clean. I appreciate you. Love you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Come back to LA when you can and let's have coffee together. I know
Definitely.
I want to have you back when we do the Laughter for All concert in Corona again. So
I would
love
love
you,
to.
man. Thank you
Love to
so
do.
much for your time. And
Thank
guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate that. And just want you to know tonight, immediately after this, I'm gonna go spend some more time with my wife, and they won't be alive with Nas tonight. I am sorry, but we'll resume tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Thank you for watching this. Can you do me a favor? Subscribe to this podcast, please do. Let your friends know about it. We don't always bring stand-up comedians, but we many times we have people like Lee Strobel and Josh McDowell, and we have models, and we have Mrs. America and Mr. America, and we have people, actors, we have singers, we have mothers, worship leaders, you name it. We'll bring them on the show. If I know they can encourage you and lift you up, I would do that. Love you guys. Can you thank you so much for being with us? And to those who asked questions, thank you so much. Hopefully, we're able to answer some of that. Love you guys. We'll see you next week for this podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30, God willing, for the Live with Nas. Good night. Alrighty, and we are good night.